The minister we agreed with is not here. I don't see anyone from the energy sector. So I request whoever is standing in for the government chief whip to please call the Minister for Energy so that he can listen to the issues of members. I'll ask Honorable Anyoto to help do that. Thank you for your kindness, Honorable. But in the meantime, Honorable colleagues, a lot happened over this week, but we lost one of the people who has made a mark and contributed to the development of theatre in the country, Mr. Alex Mukuru. Anyone who knows the entertainment industry, the talent development in the country, knows that Alex Mukuru, alongside other prominent Ugandans, has played a very, very, very critical role in the development of theatre in the country. I want us to take a minute and we wish him a peaceful rest.
May his soul rest in eternal peace.
I'll be allowing matters of national importance at 2 p.m. when I know that the ministers and everyone is here. That's when I'll allow matters of national importance. But in the meantime, I told you on, I think it was Wednesday, Honorable, when you raised the issue of the interns. Yes, and again, I think it came back on Thursday. And I asked the minister to finalize consultations and come and update us. So I just wanted, as we wait for the Minister for Energy, I want the Minister for Health. No, I just want first the Minister for Health to tell us if he has any update for us on that issue, because all of us have been following up on it. Over the weekend, I was on call with several stakeholders, and including him. He gave me a time, and we are pushing right and center to ensure the issue of interns is resolved. So, Honourable Minister, I don't know if you have any update for this House and the country on the issue of interns.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable members. Good morning. Yes, this issue of medical interns has been an issue for discussion in the last number of weeks and months. Just as a form of recap, is that when you train as a medical student, particularly those training for Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, those are the medical doctors, and Bachelor of Dental Surgery, those are the dental surgeons, Pharmacy, Bachelor of Pharmacy, and then the graduate nurses and midwives. When you complete university education and you pass exams, you are requested to undertake 1 year of internship before you could be given a practicing license. And the Ministry of Health deploys those medical graduates in the various hospitals which are accredited to offer internship. And those facilities are where we have specialists and consultants, because you do internship under the care and supervision of the medical specialists. Traditionally, government has been facilitating the interns as they do their work. Like I've been reporting in this House, last year, a new policy was passed, championed by the Ministry of Education and Sports, but in conjunction with the Ministry of Health. And the last time we commented on this issue, the Honorable Kwizera was requesting for that policy that touches on internship, and you did guide that I should bring it and table it to the House. And I would like at the start to table the National Education and Training for Health Policy, which was passed by Cabinet on the 6th of October 2025. It's by the Ministry of Education and Sports. I would like to training the medics so that we can have competent doctors and other health professionals, because I am sure all of us, you would want to appear before a medical doctor or any other health worker when you are confident that this person is competent. That is why they do not grade the medical degrees, for instance, right, Honorable Speaker. Other courses, somebody gets a first class, a second class, upper, a past degree, but medical degrees are never classified, so that if you are a doctor, you are a doctor. Otherwise, if they told you this doctor got a past degree, probably you will be scared appearing before him or her. So when this policy was passed, it has very many progressive provisions that are meant to set standards and build the competencies as we train our health workers. Now, when this policy was passed, there are provisions which were contested by the interns and the medical fraternity. As you've been seeing, the leader of opposition raised this matter on the floor, and I did. And Her Excellency, the Vice President, and the Right Honourable raised this matter on the floor, and I did. And Her Excellency, the Vice President, and the Right Honourable Prime Minister pledged to Parliament that the government would come back and update the House on those areas which are being contested. And I have been telling Parliament and the public that I do not have authority as a minister to review or reverse or pronounce myself on a policy which was passed by Cabinet. So I have been carrying out consultations, and I would like to report. Let me say, directed as Ministry of Health to deploy all the interns, all those medical students who have completed their studies and are due for deployment. Because in the past, there was a challenge of few accredited internship centers, so the ministry would deploy some and leave others in waiting. And what we did this time around is that we expanded and leave others in waiting. And what we did this time around is that we expanded the internship centers by posting specialists to hospitals, including the general district hospitals. And now we have 77 accredited internship centers, and we have deployed all those pre-interns, and we have deployed 2,490 interns. This is the medical doctors, dental surgeons, pharmacists, and graduate nurses and midwives. Now, the two contentious policy positions which had been taken in the new policy are: one, the issue of facilitation, because traditionally government has been paying all interns, but a new proposal had been passed that would distinguish those who were sponsored by government at university training and those who were privately sponsored. And that's one of the issues which has been bringing discomfort among these interns. We've been paying 1,268,929 Uganda shillings, which when taxed the net pay becomes 1 million shillings. And the proposal in that policy had been that for those who are government sponsored, the sponsorship continues at internship, and for those who were private, had been that for those who are government sponsored, the sponsorship continues at internship, and for those who were privately sponsored, then your guardian or parent continues sponsoring you, but the government pays for your meals. When we computed the cost of meals as per government rate, it had given us a figure of 483,334. So when we met yesterday, and I have consulted the president, I have also consulted the cabinet which sat yesterday. We did agree, and the cabinet recommended that we suspend that provision of facilitation for medical interns, meaning that we pay them as it has been for medical interns, meaning that we pay them as it has been. So going forward, the current cohort of interns will be paid the same amount. That is 1,268,929, and is subject to tax, and then the net pay will be 1 million. So that differentiation between the government-sponsored and private-sponsored has been suspended for the current cohort of interns, but Cabinet directed me as Minister of Health to come back to review the aspects of the policy to do with the health workforce, and come with a comprehensive paper on the issue of human resource for health. Because there are many doctors who are qualifying but are not being absorbed by government, or they are not getting employment. So Cabinet directed that we study all this. We look at how many doctors do we need to train in the country, how do we absorb all those medical graduates, what pay should we provide to them as government. The President is of the view and has guided that we should not subject the pay of medical workers to tax, the way it is done to the soldiers and the armed forces. So Cabinet directed me to prepare a report within 6 months, but I will do it within two months to Cabinet to address all these issues. Yeah? At the earliest, we are highly efficient in the Ministry of Health. Even if the demand came that we do it tomorrow, we will still do it. So we shall present it at the earliest, so that we address comprehensively the issue of the human resource for health, including the staffing levels in our health facilities. So we shall be presenting that. And also, we are discussing the issue of dual employment and moonlighting in the health sector. The other day when I made a remark on this floor about when the interns were not there and mortality rates went down, people were unhappy. But like I clarified, right, Honorable Speaker, the challenge we've been having, like many people say, that these hospitals where we deploy interns, it is the interns running the services. It shouldn't be like that. Interns provide medical services but under supervision. So it is wrong to leave the interns on their own because they are still under training. And the challenge has been that the specialists, the senior doctors, more or less like, okay, I don't want to say they run away, they absentee themselves and leave the service provision to the interns, which should not be that way. So part of the tasks I have been given is to review that issue. How do we ensure that even when we deploy interns, the senior doctors are present to provide supervision? I am not sure whether any one of you would be comfortable if you went to hospital and God forbid they are to do an operation on you, say an abdominal surgery. Who of you would be comfortable if they said it's the intern who is going to operate you? I am sure most of you would be, there should be a surgeon, a serious surgeon. So we are going to look at all this and then bring a comprehensive statement to cabinet, and thereafter we shall come to the House to give you that statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to inform my Honorable Minister that while he's telling us what he's saying, there are interns that have been arrested while doing their own constitutional right in terms of striking. I might not call it strike. So maybe, Honorable Minister, yes, industrial action, as the lawyers might say. So maybe as you give us the detailed statement, may we know the fate, or whether there is something that has been decided by the government regarding those who have been arrested in doing what they are supposed to do under the Constitution. Thank you.
I'm still reporting, and that's part of the issues I will reach. You know, I am taking time because...
Honourable Minister, let's conclude, because
yes.
You've already given us the most important good news. So let's conclude on the rest.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. So the issue of pay, we have sorted it that way, like I've explained. Now, the other contentious issue which the interns were complaining about was that the policy proposes a major shift in terms of when do the medical graduates graduate. Because traditionally, when you finish the medical school, meaning you have sat the final exams and you have passed, then the university schedules and arranges for graduation. So the policy had proposed that when you complete the training, the academic training, you proceed for internship, and then you graduate after internship. That one we have reversed it. We have reversed it and said no, there should be a distinction between the academic qualification and the qualification for practice. Those are different. And therefore, the status quo shall remain, that the medical students will be undertaking their studies. When they pass the final exams, they will graduate, and then internship will be separate. Because you can choose to train as a doctor, and then you want to go and do internship outside the country, or you want to go and do something else, you don't want to practice. That freedom should be allowed. So that one, we also took a decision on that. Now, as I conclude, in response to what my honorable brother from Igara West has raised, I met the pre-interns and we had a lengthy discussion which lasted about 6 hours. And I gave them assurance that there is goodwill in the parliament, there is goodwill in the cabinet, there is goodwill from myself as the Minister of Health. So I had guided them, there is no need for confrontational approach to resolving this matter. So I told them we would be confronting government if, for instance, we were resisting or not listening to you. But these are young people, you know, from our student days, when we just say, where, people just start rioting without even knowing what the issue is. So unfortunately, we struck an agreement that I would pursue their issues, but still they went ahead and went into a way. And they demonstrated. It's unfortunate that some of them were into a way. And they demonstrated. It's unfortunate that some of them were arrested by police. Of course, police was doing its work. If you offend the rules these laws were passed here in Parliament. Yeah, there is a law which guides on assemblies and protests, and it's there. Yes, it is there. And also we passed that law here in the House. So it's unfortunate. I didn't actually know. It appeared when I was briefing Parliament that day, I didn't know they were demonstrating coming to Parliament. And I think up to 8 of them were arrested, produced in court, charged, and remanded. My view is that they should be released. They should be released. Charges dropped. And while, of course, the DPP and the court system, they are independent, as a minister, you can't direct court on what to do, but we shall engage. No. We shall engage, as a Minister of Health, I will engage the judicial officers together with Attorney General to see how the issue can be amicably resolved. So those young people should be released so that they can go and start their internship training.
Honourable Minister,
So
can we conclude?
in brief,
Yeah.
Right Honourable Speaker, that's the update I just wanted to give the House. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, these are straightforward matters. We were demanding from the minister, one, that the interns should be paid. Okay? They reversed the decision, the interns are going to be paid. Number two, we are saying the interns were demanding that they need to be allowed to graduate before they can do internship. And it has been resolved. Okay? So I will allow only 2 people. I will allow the leader of opposition and the chair committee on health. And we conclude this matter. We go back to our major issue. Thank you. 1 person from each side. This is fait accompli. So I don't know what we want to add. Yes, leader of opposition.
The leader of opposition coming in. Yes, we had deployed them and asked them to report from the 3rd to the 14th, which deadline has since passed. But these are our children, our sons and daughters. Yes, hold on. So we are going to extend that period to Friday this week. So I request these young people, the interns, okay, some of them are not young, to report. We extend the reporting period up to Friday this week, beyond which we shall consider those who have not reported probably have taken a decision not to undertake internship.
Thank you. Lop.
Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the Minister for the feedback he has given to the House. In the last couple of days, we have been harassing him for this response, and I'm hoping he didn't take it personally. It's just that he's the duty bearer, and he's the one we had to harass, execute this mandate. Like you, Mr. Speaker, even as I was harassing the Minister here, I normally follow up to reach out and engage how far, what's happening. And so he gave me an update as well. And I said, okay, at least there is some progress. What's for sure is that the interns have been saying, no, we deserve a lot more. The 1 million that has been the case for quite some time now. In fact, there was a time when government paid them a lot more for 1 financial year and then went back to 1 million shillings. And so they are saying, surely.
Your email is your first online impression. Make it count. With GoDaddy Email, you get a professional address that matches your domain. It builds trust, boosts credibility, and helps grow your brand. Setup is quick, and your inbox is protected with built-in security. And if you ever need help, we're just a call away. Start building your brand, 1 email at a time.
It says, okay, we're going to give them 1 million shillings net. For me, that is acknowledgement that they need to be facilitated. Now, going forward, in your engagements, and I would like to encourage the Minister, that engagement you had with them should not be the last. Hopefully, you can keep engaging with them so that you understand them better, the idiosyncrasies, the nature of work that they do now, because, Honorable Minister, I'm sure you graduated like what, maybe 40 years ago. Times have changed. A lot has changed. You know, the terrain is different. Many of them are in far to rich places. And so 1 million shillings or that kind of thing many years ago cannot be the same today. So please keep engaging them and let the conversation be, how do we facilitate them better? You have started now by acknowledging, yes, they need to be facilitated, but that needs to be improved. They're saying the work they do, things are expensive, the places they've got to go and rent, up country, wherever they are. So there should be a conversation about this money being increased. But also finally, Mr. Speaker, the Minister has told us that this particular rescinding of that policy is for this cohort, of that provision is for this particular cohort. That worries me because that means I will be back here maybe next year to complain again, because you'll be saying, no, that was for this particular cohort. So next year we are moving on to something different and to totally, you know, remove this facilitation. I hope that now in your engagements with government, now that you're preparing a report, that you get to say, no, we need to, going forward, continue to facilitate these people so that it doesn't apply only to this cohort. So I hope it's not just for this cohort and then going forward you say, no, we will not facilitate them going forward. No, it should not just be for this cohort, but like I'm saying, going forward, let's have a discussion about facilitating them better. And government can afford to do this, I believe. When we prioritize and say healthcare is important, and these people have qualified, let's pay them better, what is deserving of them. That now should be the next conversation we get to have. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chair, Committee on Health.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. First and foremost, I want to thank the Minister of Health for the efforts and importantly, choosing dialogue to end this issue. And again, want to thank the interns, especially their leadership, Uganda Medical Association, again, for choosing dialogue to end this issue. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of the Minister that there were some incidences reported last time, I think a year or ago, where some intern lost lives. And this was on account of choosing accommodation in insecure areas of stay. So I think the allowance that we give really needs to be stepped up such that these interns are able to choose accommodation in safer areas. And in the long run, as government, we should plan to think of how to house interns near their places of placement. And having said that, there are other colleagues almost doing a similar work. These are the senior house officers. And Right Honorable Minister, I would request that the comprehensive package possibly that will be coming forth, it should also be clear what is there that is planned for the senior, possibly that will be coming forth, it should also be clear what is there that is planned for the senior house officers. And again, what is being given is an allowance. It has to be clear that government is not giving them a salary, the interns, just officers. And again, what is being given is an allowance. It has to be clear that government is not giving them a salary, the interns, just an allowance to help them get accommodation and then get feeding. Similarly, the senior house officers are qualified doctors, but doing postgraduate and also serve under similar situations. These two needs to be looked into. And finally, there is a need for predictability of this funding. Possibly maybe entrench it in some of our budgets, such that we don't end up with similar situations